Alrighty, we are back for Roundtable Rams episode number 25. I'm once again joined by Billy and Buddy, and we're going to talk all about Los Angeles Rams football here. Before we start, I'm going to do what I normally do or have been doing. If you guys like what you hear, please do us a favor. Go like, share, subscribe, do all the social media things, and also in the description of this video will be the official Roundtable Rams website. Please go join that if you want to hear all about Rams football, analysis, what we're going to be doing today, which is just training camp primers. This podcast lives on YouTube, but it also lives there as well. But please go join the site. It's completely free. You can like and comment on every article, every community post, which is like a built-in Twitter, all kinds of cool stuff over there. Please go join it. Don't make me beg. That being said, we're going to jump right into covering the quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receiver room here for the Rams, starting with the quarterbacks, which I just don't think we have to spend a whole lot of time on. We've discussed this in length. We all have our questions, or rather our concerns or critiques. But we'll jump into it. Like I said, I mean, similar to our other pod, similar situation to the Ravens there. The Rams have a top guy there, Matthew Stafford. We know this, reigning MVP. He's going to continue playing. The only, I guess, question, rather concern, would be if he's going to be playing past 2026, which again, I think we're all in agreement that he probably will. That being said, it leads into the backup quarterback conversation, which is a topic that we will discuss, we can discuss, we've been discussing. My biggest thing here, so you have Stetson Bennett, who's been with the team for, I believe, 4 years already. This is going to be his fifth year. And then you got the rookie Ty Simpson. Now, here we go. I still firmly believe that if Ty Simpson does not win the backup quarterback spot, they got a serious problem. Obviously, Stetson Bennett has a 4-year head start, but the whole purpose of drafting a quarterback in the first round is that you hope that quarterback is ready to go within a year, in my opinion. 2, sure. Obviously, it's going to be 2 because Matthew Stafford is not stepping away in 2026. Again, I think we're all in agreement there. But it just points to a bigger concern if Ty Simpson does not win that backup quarterback position and is beaten out by Stetson Bennett, who, as we know, is not a starter. Backup, sure. But even then, he's been a questionable backup as well. So, that being said, that's my feelings on it. I know I'm not grasping at straws here, but that's the biggest concern for me. Biggest question is, will Stetson Bennett outwork Ty Simpson in training camp?
Yeah, the thing that I'm looking at just above all else really in this training camp was Ty Simpson worth that first round pick? I want to see him bonding with the receivers. I want to see him, creating chemistry with the offensive line, with everybody. Like, I want to see him really kind of come in and show, because I haven't seen any positive coverage of people saying like this was a wonderful decision from the Rams. I want him to come in and show everyone they were wrong. Not that he should have to prove himself because he was drafted in that position for a reason, but like that should light a fire underneath him to want to come in and show everyone like, I'm the guy. Like, don't put me down. Like, if Matthew Stafford gets injured tomorrow, like, I'm coming in and I'm going to carry this team. Because technically that's what he's been brought in to do. That happens. That happened with many teams over the years. Their starting quarterback just wasn't really cutting it anymore. Rookie came in, took away, and ended up taking away the team. So this happens. It can happen. So I want to see him really step in and just show that like he was worthwhile. Pick him.
Also, too, they do have Matthew Caldwell that I don't wanted to mention, but I mean, like, there's no Matthew Caldwell is an undrafted free agent that they added. I mean, he's not going to be, he's not. He's battling it out to, I don't know, do whatever it is he's going to do. But no offense to him. I'm just saying. He's on the roster as well. I just didn't mention him because it's going to be Matthew Stafford, Ty Simpson, and or Stetson Bennett. And then Matthew Caldwell probably gets waived at some point. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, true. Or he goes on the practice squad, right?
Or a practice squad.
Yeah, that's probably what they do. So, yeah, I mean, obviously for the Rams, QB1 is settled. QB2 is still up in the air, and that's one of the position training camp battles that we're all looking forward to as well. And we all expect Ty Simpson to win that. And to your point, Billy, he hears the chatter. He should embrace that, and he's talked about that a little bit. I think in an interview that he had with like Sports Illustrated, he talked about like, yeah, I like hear the chatter. I feel like he didn't say he was embracing it, but I have like, by the looks of it, by the sounds of it, he is embracing it, and I love that attitude because I mean, hey, like sure the fans may not want me. Analysts are probably confused on why they chose me, but the Rams believe in me, right? So I mean, there's no reason why I shouldn't believe in myself and eventually be the successor to Matthew Stafford, because that's why he was chosen at number 13 overall, is to be the successor. Now the question is, when will that be? That's the biggest question mark. And will it be closer to the end of his rookie deal? Probably, because Matthew Stafford has shown indication that he's not going to retire anytime soon. Like you said, James, we expect him to play past 2027. I mean, past 2026. I think if he's healthy, he's
And past 2027.
If he's healthy, he's gonna play past 2027 as well. So it's like, okay, like the Rams kind of dug themselves in a little bit of hole in that sense, but they view it as that's the Ty Simpson selection is the biggest reason. One of the biggest reasons why they ended up drafting Myles Garrett, because they're like, hey, we have a franchise quarterback. We have a franchise quarterback now for the foreseeable future. We don't have to have a first round pick, which is why they got Myles Garrett. So, I mean, in their heads, what they're planning, it seems like they're on that path to where they want to go. It's only a matter of like, well, is that path going to work out, right? Because Matthew Stafford is still going to be playing, and he's still at a high level, barring any injuries. So that's really the thing. That's like the overall question, like how long is Matthew Stafford going to play, and also too is Ty Simpson going to win the QB2 battle? Like you said, James, Seth Bennett has 4 years of experience in front of him. He's going to enter his 5th year, so he has experience and he has knowledge of the Sean McVay playbook. That is very, very huge. Rookies usually in Sean McVay's offense, they don't get a lot of playing time, and clearly I know Matthew Stafford has that over him, but like, I mean, that's like a big edge that Bennett has over him. So although that is the case, even though we're talking about that, we still expect Simpson to win the job. And if he doesn't win the job, then some serious questions, some serious conversations will be had. And people are going to be like, well, how come you didn't draft a guy who could help you out right away, i.e. offensive lineman or wide receiver?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, this is something that's going to be one of the biggest training camp battles in the NFL, really, because then everyone's going to come down even harder on the Rams in the sense of like, well, why the hell did you take Simpson then? But all signs are pointing to he's going to be sitting on the bench for 2 years, in my opinion. I mean, I think that's kind of what we all share, but he has a contract. Matthew Stafford has a contract through 2027. There's no way in hell, if he still wants to play, that he's going to get benched for anybody, especially his play in 2025. And he should be just as good in 2026, maybe better. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see. Just going to jump right into our running backs. I think probably that the Rams have the best duo in the NFL. They got Kyron Williams and they got Blake Corum. They have some definite talent behind that. Ronnie Rivers is a good return man. And then they got, I think it's Jarquez Hunter. I'm not sure if I'm saying that one right. And Dean Connors as undrafted free agent. But obviously one of the biggest questions for the Rams in the running back room right now is, will Blake Corum catch Kyron Williams in the sense of like a split carry type of duty? Obviously, they found a really strong way to complement one another, but Blake Corum started coming alive, and he had, I think, more yards per carry on average than Kyron Williams did towards the end of the season, especially. And so now it becomes a question, too, because longevity, injuries, all that good stuff. Like, you find yourself in a really advantageous position, but do the Rams want to kind of like 50-50 it now? They weren't really 50-50 in 2025. I would say maybe 60-40, if that's fair. But now, with Blake Corum, showing that he can also be kind of a lead back himself, it'll be really interesting to see how they balance out that rushing attack. But again, this is a really good problem to have, because they're both efficient in what they do. And again, I believe that they have the best running back tandem in the NFL. Kyron Williams, he's been one of the most consistent backs, and again, Blake Corum is starting to show that explosive capability. So it's going to be, again, this is going to be one of the most interesting kind of, not a camp battle, but it's going to be a really interesting thing to see unfold in the regular season, to see if more responsibility are going to fall on Blake Corum as opposed to Kyron Williams. Obviously, Kyron Williams is going to be the lead back there, but will we see a 50-50 split? I think that's the biggest question.
Yeah, I mean, they're sorted in this area because even if one of them does go down, the other one can carry, and they have guys behind them that will serve the job just as well. And I think that that's going to be the interesting thing this year, because what you really want to do is just keep them both healthy and keep them both, going all the way deep into the season. So by splitting the responsibility, like, you kind of guarantee that a little bit more, their body's staying healthy, their body's staying fresh. There's nothing to worry about here. There's only those two guys ahead of no one's going to come in and beat them in training camp. It's just, can they stay healthy? Can they, keep doing what they're doing? There's nothing really to worry about there.
Yeah, no, it's very true. Yeah, I mean, like, obviously Williams has established himself as one of the better backs in the league, and obviously like a great force for the Rams offense. He does everything that is asked of him. That is, I mean, he does a great job right there in the backfield. The only thing is that really he doesn't have that explosiveness, right? And he kind of struggles to carry for long gains and whatnot. And, Corum, I feel like he has a chance to do that with the Rams. So if he could maybe establish himself as that type of player, then I think that 50-50 split will come a lot sooner rather than later. I mean, don't forget, like, this is a guy in Corum who went to Michigan who, like, did his part to make JJ McCarthy like a top 10, a top 15 pick in the NFL. Like, that pick is looking like, for the Vikings, that pick is looking like, what the heck were the Vikings thinking? But a lot of that had to do with Blake Corum and how he kind of ran that offense, and how obviously he helped out JJ McCarthy be that top pick. Like, Blake Corum is no joke. I remember when they got that, when they selected him, I was like, oh man, he was still on the board just because of everything that he did for the Michigan offense. He was kind of like a dual threat type of guy, and one of the biggest reasons why they won a national championship as well. So, I mean, when they got a guy like Corum and his kind of not resurgence, but his kind of step up last year, like the 60-40 split that you talked about, James, like, that was certainly a lot closer towards the end of the season because of how he established himself. And I wrote in one of the pieces, like, that I did earlier this week, like, if Corum has a really, really good training camp, he's not going to be running back one, but he will certainly, that 50-50 split will certainly be closer. And he had 145 rushing attempts last year. If he's right there on par with Kyron Williams, that could be like a 200 easily right there. I mean, we'll see how Nate Houses kind of plays his cards and whatnot, because obviously that wide receiver room is still stacked. So you want to involve them and then the 13 personnel as well. But I mean, if Corum and Williams could just really hit the ground running, man, those are good problems to have for your offense, right? Because, like, Williams does it all in the goal line, whether third down and whatnot. But if you could add Corum to that mix, especially with who I believe he's a bit more of an explosive runner, these are good problems to have for the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, 5.1 yards per carry as opposed to 4.0 for Kyron Williams. I mean, obviously he had 100 less rushing attempts, but I mean, 746 yards, 6 touchdowns. Kyron had
10.
Thank you. 10 touchdowns. 1,252 rushing yards. He had 281 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns as well. And Blake Corum had, and I wish my laptop would not stop being slow here. Yeah, he's not. The thing is, Kyron Williams is a better catcher than Blake Corum is, but maybe Corum is more efficient on the ground, and that's where they separate themselves. So you're not going to get rid of one for the other, or, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's never gonna, I don't think he's going to be able to overtake Williams, but, like, yeah, they might do 200 carries each, and then both of them collectively were 2,000 yards on the ground. So, like, that's huge. Anybody that has a running back that can reach near that is already efficient, like, offensively, usually. So, yeah.
And you keep your quarterback healthy.
Yeah, which I mean, it's Matthew Stafford, and with his back issues and whatever the hell else is going on, you gotta make sure that
Yeah.
you have those compliments to him to make sure the offense
Hmm.
is chugging along there. But
And it's
Also,
beneficial for Ty Simpson too.
yeah,
If
without a
he
doubt.
does come in, those are two guys pretty solid
that can
to,
carry
if you
the
know,
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, and make you look better, as Buddy
Yeah.
was saying, make you look better than
No.
you
yeah,
actually are.
No, yeah. Also, too, like even though like Kyron Williams is a small player, like he's a really good pass blocking running back as well.
yeah,
Like he doesn't take no mess. Like sure, like he gets pancakes sometimes, but like he does enough so Matthew Stafford could
yeah,
release the ball, and that's huge, and that's something that he has over Blake Horn as well. So that's like another part in why like Williams is the established running
yeah,
back one. So no, that's great for the offense in general.
yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of weaknesses here on this Rams team. We know that. We've talked about that. Everybody knows that. And this leads right into the wide receiver room. Running backs are solid, quarterbacks solid. Obviously, barring anything unfortunate happening to Matthew Stafford. But the wide receiver room is still kind of a little bit of a question here. You got Puka Nakua, who's arguably the best wide receiver in the league, maybe second a little bit to Jackson Smith and Jigba from the Seattle Seahawks, and then Devontae Adams is getting older, and we know he had that hamstring injury, that nagging hamstring that kept him out. And even regardless, he still led the league in 14 touchdowns, and that's crazy at his age to be able to still do that. Obviously, he's a red zone threat, so they're going to keep using him that way because he just knows how to get that separation. He knows how to score. But then beyond that, we still don't know who wide receiver 3 is going to be. There's Jordan Whittington, Xavier Smith, Kanata Mumfield, CJ Daniels. There's guys in the room right now that have not quite separated themselves. Devontae Adams actually shouted out, I believe it was Kanata Mumfield, right? He shouted out Kanata Mumfield and said that he's the truth and everyone's going to see. But the Rams are still waiting for that established wide receiver 3 to emerge out of that group. CJ Daniels may have been one of the only lone draft picks they got, but he could be that guy that could step up too. That's just the biggest question right now is whether or not they have somebody in the room that will be that wide receiver 3. And if they don't, then will the Rams go out and say F them picks again and go and get somebody like Stephon Diggs to really put the screws to everybody and be like, this is what we're gonna do to make sure that we have every facet covered in 2026 to make that deep playoff run and win the Super Bowl, get the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, this is where my biggest question is with the first round pick this year, because now you've got rid of your first round pick next year, and Adams and Nakua are in contract years. So there's two holes you've got to fill. Nakua's likely not going anywhere. He's going to get that contract, we think, next year, not this year. Adams is older. He is older. He could go be of use to another team. He might want to. He might see. I'm sure the Rams are going to stay as threatening as they are now, but he might want to go somewhere else and just close out his career in another team. So that is where my whole thing. So they must believe in the guys that they've got right now. But I agree with you, James, that if they see a hole there and they're like, well, we've got everything else going on for us this year. Every other hole is filled. This can't be the one thing that's going to let us down. We have the space, the money to do it. Like, let's do it. But it seems like right now that they like their options. And if that is true of Mumfield, then great. They've sorted. And I want to see them kind of, because they didn't make many picks this year. CJ Daniels is the sixth round pick, and obviously that takes a little time to get established, but maybe they see something in him. Maybe there's potential in him to kind of come in for a couple of drives, see how it goes. But yeah, that's where my biggest question mark comes over, is like, you've now not got the opportunity to do that next year in the first round. So and with Nakua and Adams both up in their contract year, it's like, what's going to happen there?
And not to mention that they almost traded Devontae Adams for AJ Brown. That was part of the conversation. So he could be like, oh, well, screw you guys. Not that he is. I'm just saying he could be like, all right, well, I was this close to getting traded. I want to go to a different team, like you just said, Billy.
I want to go to the Seahawks.
Yeah, right. I want to go to a different team to close out my career, which, I mean, why wouldn't he if he gets a bag from somebody else? Of course he's going to go do that. Like, I'm not saying that he's not loyal. I'm not saying any of that. But just, especially when you're older you want that guaranteed money. If somebody's going to offer you more guaranteed money for 2 years, you're going to go and take that guaranteed money to close out your career or whatever the case may be. And again, if you feel some type of way about nearly being traded, which from what we know of Devontae Adams, he's kind of a pro. He understands the business of everything. Even then, I'm sure he wasn't upset about it. He was like, yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, I would have gone to the Eagles. He would have came here. It is what it is, kind of a thing. And he would have gone and balled out with Jalen Hurts. But anyway, there you go.
No, that's true too, because I was thinking also, like, with the Rams, their expectation this year is Super Bowl or bust. So if he does go win the Super Bowl, you know, it's not always guaranteed that the next year you're going to have that same level of success as the whole thing of Super Bowl hangover, all of that's like, he may want to go to another contender. Another contender is definitely going to, you know, secure that ring and then retire. Or he might retire after the Super Bowl. He might end it on his own terms. So that is just where my biggest thing is like, who can stand alongside Puka Nacua after Devontae Adams is gone? And do you have him in the building or do you have to go get him? And you still, if you do go get a vet like Stephon Diggs or whatever, he's older too. You know, he's not going to be there forever too. So it's still a hole that they need to address.
Yeah, no, it's very true. Yeah, clearly the wide receiver 3 is the biggest question mark. And then if that question is answered, if that question is answered as a no, then it's like, will the Rams regret not signing or selecting a wide receiver 3 with the 13th overall pick, or not signing one in free agency? Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, most people thought that the Rams were going to select an offensive player, particularly a wide receiver 3, to come in and fill that hole, and, you know, obviously not, you know, I mean, lead the Rams to the Super Bowl, but do his part to lead the Rams to the Super Bowl. And they didn't. They went with Ty Simpson, and that's part of the reason why that selection was a bit of a head scratcher, because it's like, oh, you have Matthew Stafford, so like, why are you getting a quarterback for the future and whatnot? And it's just like, it was weird. And now it's like, okay, well, that must mean that they trust someone in the building, right? But then you look at the names and you look at how they performed and whatnot, and you're like, okay, well, that's a little weird. But we'll see what happened in training camp. That's all part of it. Like you said, James, Adams endorsed, you know, Mumfield, and hopefully for their sake that works out. And if it doesn't, it's like, okay, well, do they wait those 8 weeks? Maybe someone becomes available, right? Maybe a wide receiver becomes available, and they're like, okay, well, we could get him, and unfortunately it didn't work out with the in-house options. Will we get, I don't know, whatever wide receiver may become available? That's really the biggest thing. It's like, man, who could establish himself as, you know, the player alongside Puka? And then I also have questions for like Puka and Adams. Like, is Puka going to face any discipline from the league, right? I mean, that's still probably a lingering question. And is that part of the reason why they maybe didn't offer him the contract extension? I don't know, maybe. And then you look at Adams, you're like, wow, he did really, really good during the 2025 season, but he got injured at the end of it. Can he stay healthy? And I would argue too, that's part of the reason why. I mean, he clearly didn't have, in the playoffs, he wasn't himself. He was still, you know, that hamstring injury was still lingering in some way, shape, or form. So did his performance maybe cause the Rams? I mean, because he did have a touchdown against the Seahawks, but outside of that, I mean, he wasn't really relevant throughout the playoffs, really, if we're being frank. So, I mean, can he stay healthy throughout the entire 2026 season? Because the way things look now, they're going to need Puka and Adams to ball out how they did for most of the 2025 season. If they don't, it might be the same result we saw last year. So, like, can Puka stay? I mean, Puka too. Puka's had injury histories as well. Can Puka stay healthy? Can Adams stay healthy? Right? I mean, because by the looks of it, you're just going to rely on those two guys. I mean, sure, it's efficient and it's fun and it's explosive, but at the same time, you know, it's going to be really easy to. I mean, in that department, it's going to be really easy to cover those guys, and if none of these guys step up, like Mumfield, like Daniels, you know, like Smith, like Whittington, who Whittington is a guy I've been looking at. Like, okay, well, I mean, he's had some opportunities in some games, whether Puka's out and whatnot, and he's done okay, but it's nothing like ever special. It's nothing like, okay, yeah, this guy could be part of the core rotation, and he just hasn't. So, you know, that's certainly one of the battles, one of the things we're looking for, and throughout training camp and certainly in the preseason.
Yeah,
it's just that one glaring hole, isn't it? Really, and everything else.
I mean, going back to what you were talking about, Billy, in the sense that like you're looking ahead. You're looking at the fact that they gave away their first round pick next year. So it would have been smarter to go and get a wide receiver this year, because even if they would have got Mekhi Lemon, knowing that they were already going after Myles Garrett, you know that if Devontae Adams is injured or goes elsewhere, you still have a wide receiver there to pair with Puka Nacua, because these other guys have not quite stepped up in the manner in which they should be or the team needs them to be. Obviously, like, yeah, sometimes it takes a player a year or two to kind of get really going, but if you're trying to win now, it wouldn't make sense for them to forego that draft pick or that wide receiver, that offensive player, which, as we know, not every first round pick is a home run, but you have a higher chance of that player being a plug and play starter. So you forego all of that to go get Ty Simpson, and now you find yourself in a situation where, like you said, buddy, Puka could get disciplined. Devontae Adams could be injured and not be himself again in 2026, or he goes against a bag, and then you're missing out on him, and now you have Puka Nacua, and then you have a bunch of guys who maybe got like 300-400 yards in a season. Not really great for the future of the team. Then you think about this. If Aaron Donald does come back in any small capacity that he comes back, are you really going to sit there and not go get a wide receiver to truly put this team in a position to win it all? I highly doubt that's not what they're going to do when you have Stephon Diggs sitting there, when you have the potential that Tyreek Hill could come back. Are you kidding me? Would you not go and get Tyreek Hill? Like, can you imagine Tyreek Hill on the Rams? Like, oh, forget about it. If he's, remotely healthy, if he's, he's coming off a really serious injury, but if he could put up numbers similar to what Devontae Adams did in 2025, but he's Tyreek Hill, like, and Stephon Diggs, there's still some off field trouble he's going through. I don't know what's going to come of that. We're not going to talk about that. It is what it is. But that being said, they're still viable. Even D-Hop. You go get DeAndre Hopkins, you bring him in there because he's still a proven veteran. Anyway, the point being, like, I think if they're putting all their eggs in the basket for 2026, we know this, everybody sees this, but if Aaron Donald does come back in some small capacity, I think they're going to make a move.
Yeah, it's like you renovated the whole house and you left one room, and you're debating about it. You're like, do we like this? This is nice. It's gonna cost a bit more to like add some like stuff to it, but like you've done the rest of the house, so just fill it out. You've got the money, you got the guys, like the options are there. Like this is the one thing that I'm just looking at confused. And they're not a stupid team. They're very tactical in what they do. So have they had the conversations? Had they just not worked out? Obviously the AJ Brown situation, sure, fine, but that still leaves Puka Nacua and AJ Brown, and then who underneath? Like, I just want to see what's gonna happen. I feel they have to do something. Like, they've done it everywhere else. They brought in all the stars. They've paid the money. They've done the showy thing. It's like, you really want to do it? You really want to beat the Seahawks and you really want to go all the way? Then, like, fill the house. Finish that one room.
No, literally. Like, the moment, like, Rashid Shaheed, the Seahawks trading for Rashid Shaheed, that was arguably the moment where the Seahawks kind of separated themselves in a way, because not only did they get a wide receiver 3, they got a player who could contribute in special teams and look like blanking out on his name from the Bears. Oh my goodness.
Roma Dunze.
Elite. No, sorry. Back in the mid 2000s, elite. Devin Hester.
Devin Hester. Oh my God.
Literally, this dude like Devin Hester in the playoffs, right? Like, that was the thing that took him over the top. And if the Rams don't have that in house, I mean, yeah, sure, they could trade for it, right? They could trade for it similar to how the Seahawks did last year. But yeah, right now it's just like, yeah, it's weird. It's weird, really, because like you said, they are tactical. They think a step ahead, 2 steps ahead, right? So, like, the only thing I could see is that they believe one of these guys in their wide receiver room will establish themselves as a wide receiver 3. Yeah. I feel like they truly believe that. Just like how they believe that Ty Simpson will be their franchise quarterback for the next 10 to 15 years. They believe one of these guys in the wide receiver room will establish themselves as wide receiver 3. I don't know how long they're giving them to do that, but I hope it's not too long, because if it doesn't work out, they're going to need to make a trade or sign a free agent that's out there.
Yeah. I mean, and again, like you just said, Billy, they're very tactical. Les Snead is very tactical about what he does. And also they're not gonna leave Ty Simpson hanging for the future either in whatever it is that they do. So that's not like, again, all these scenarios that may or may not happen, if they all go the wrong way, then who the hell is Ty Simpson going to throw the ball to except for Puka Nakua? So you have to think about that too, like them going and signing somebody else, maybe not a 1-year deal, but a multi-year deal, whoever it may be. I don't know. I just feel like they're going to go, like you just said, that was a good analogy. Like that's the one room that you didn't finish out of your entire remodel. Like that doesn't make any sense. So I think they're going to do something. If training camp is going to happen, and then maybe after training camp they go and get somebody. Maybe they wait until the trade deadline and they go get somebody there. They trade for somebody, and that is that move. That is their Rashid Shaheed move. I don't know, but I just feel like right now with their current wide receiver room under Nakua and Adams, something has to be done right now.
Yeah. And I want a tinfoil hat for a moment. Say Matthew Stafford comes to the end of 2026 season, they win the Super Bowl or don't. And he's like, okay, I'm done. Like, my journey in LA is done. I want to go play somewhere else. Does Puka Nakua want to play with Ty Simpson? His contract year is also up. Is he like, I don't know, because he could go anywhere. Puka Nakua, like, everyone's on his phone. If, he could go to any team. So, say you win the Super Bowl, right? Rams win the Super Bowl 2026. He's like, okay, next year, Matthew Stafford's going to go somewhere else, or he's going to retire, or whatever. Does he want to stay in LA with Ty Simpson, or does he want to go somewhere else? Tinfoil hat off.
No, those are, yeah. That's
and then what? And then who's your and Devontae Adams retires because you won the Super Bowl. Then what? Let's need.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's 10 steps ahead of me and he's sorted it out, but that's my tinfoil hat moment of
yeah. Right now, looking at it, you're like, oh man, they're in some deep, you know what, right? If that would happen, it'll make it easier to swallow if the Rams do win the Super Bowl. But if they don't, if they lose in the Super Bowl or whatever the case may be, it's like, oh man, not only did
that's even worse,
not accomplish our goal, not accomplish our goal, but we lost Stafford. We could lose Nakua if things, because nothing's guaranteed. Yeah,
nothing's guaranteed. We saw this offseason was crazy. Yes. Like firings left, right, and center. Like things just happen.
Yeah.
It's possible. Anything's possible.
It is.
Yeah. And we will see. Training camp is just about 2 weeks away for every team. We're going to see if Ty Simpson's really that guy, if he's going to get third string quarterbacked. We're going to see if whoever is going to start emerging as that wide receiver 3, because somebody needs to be there. But all that good stuff is coming. Thank you guys so much for listening. It's been Roundtable Rams, episode number 25. We will be back next week to talk more training camp, talk more position battles. I'm really excited to get into the tight end room because it's crazy and they added even more, and I don't know what the hell they're doing, but it is what it is. That being said, thank you guys so much for listening. We will be back.